Hello, everybody, and thank you for jumping on today's webinar. My name is Garrett Fuller, obviously with Foundation Software, and today's topic is WIP reporting, or work in progress reporting within Foundation. A couple quick things. One, if for timing of this should be a pretty brief webinar. I'll try to get into some details on the WIP. Obviously, we'll talk about where the numbers come from, some options with it. Geared towards people not using Foundation. A lot of times we'll have a mix of attendees from current users, and obviously this is more targeted to non-Foundation clients. That's more of a tip for any Foundation person that's viewing. You're more than welcome to attending and watching today. I just didn't want to, mislead what the goal was. So first, let's do just a real quick intro on Foundation as far as who we are, and I'll be really quick, and we'll jump right into the actual WIP overview and discussion. So here's me. I won't get into a whole bunch with me. I've done this quite a long time. I used to do implementations of the system, did support for many years, long time ago. This is outdated. It's, I don't know, 24 years or so here. So yeah, been doing this a while. Foundation as a whole, these are things that we offer. This is more of just a big picture of, hey, what do we look like? We've been doing job cost accounting for 40 years. We also offer project management solutions. We have a safety management product, HR, mobile solutions, right, for field labor entry and other items. We offer a full construction payroll service, estimating solutions. So Foundation over the years, right, we've grown a lot, and we try to do, and hopefully, as much as we can in one spot, right, so people can eliminate potentially using multiple products as best as they can, right? Here's the logos, great. Foundation, we've probably, between our multiple products, well, let's just say Foundation alone, right around 7,500 or so contractors now at this point. This is a little outdated. So yeah, 40 years we've been doing this. Now, so our payroll service, we have a lot of companies that are on Foundation that are on our payroll service. If they want us to be their ADP or paychecks, right? It's a nice all-in-one solution. A lot of our clients are specialty contractors because our payroll is really strong, but a good chunk are general contractors. Might be more 65, 35, but small to mid-sized companies is typically our niche. All we have is construction companies though, and really important to make note of, the support is in-house. Okay, so everything that we have for our products, the support and training and implementation is all done direct through Foundation, not outsourced at all. Who's a good fit? People on the call, hopefully, labor intensive and general contractors, right? So it's basically small to mid-sized construction companies. Now, for people that migrate to Foundation, oftentimes they're coming off of maybe an off-the-shelf tool, right? QuickBooks or something like that. And the other half are coming off of maybe an older construction system or something that's not supported any longer. Yeah, but we'll hop in and get to the topic at hand here. So let's jump into Foundation. So this is our full job cost accounting suite. We're obviously going to narrow this down and talk about job cost reporting, okay? We do a lot, right? But I'm going to jump right into our dashboard tool, and we have one of our WIP reports found here. Now, the goal with our dashboard is to give an executive of the company or any day-to-day user kind of an overall feel of the company, right? What do our projects look like with their profitability and cost? What do change orders look like for the company? What's pending, approved? There's financial summaries, right? Cash management, payables, receivables. So not the be-all end-all reporting, but it's a nice clean spot where we can see the big picture. Now, there's security everywhere, so if somebody shouldn't see any specific information, they won't, right? If I should only see certain jobs, I'll only see certain jobs. If I shouldn't see financial information, I won't see financial information. So while we have a variety of job cost reporting, right? I don't want to say anything you can think of, but variance reports, production reports, super detailed audit level reports. I'm going to jump right into our over underbilling or WIP report. So it starts off with a pie chart. I'm just going to bypass it just to get into the traditional view of it. Now, I'll elaborate on some key points as far as jobs that show up, where these numbers come from. Now, for people that use Foundation, even if they didn't know this was here, which they do, it's ready to go essentially. It'd be tough in a way to not have all of this data sitting here, because as we see here, first off, I'll note revised, right? So that's including approved change orders. Okay, so you can track change orders in our system. We've got, when we go to a job record, which I'll show, we have the original contract amount as an example, but there's an area that you can, of course, enter change orders. If those change orders are marked approved, that's what's moving the needle on this revised contract and estimated cost, okay? If you prefer to have a WIP report, have a column for the original contract and a column for approved change orders, and then a total revised contract, great. So that's something worth mentioning. There is another WIP report in our system that's slightly different in its columns, same calculations and all that, but there is a report writer, so we can really just customize our own WIP if that's something that needs to happen. I've done a lot of implementations. A lot of people are more than happy with the pre-designed WIP, but it is not all super unusual. If somebody goes, well, I want to add a column or change something, that's fine. It's a really simple drop and drag report writer. I can pop in there and give you a quick view of that too. Jobs are alphanumeric. That's totally up to each company. Blue means you can drill down. For example, if I click into a job, it's going to take me to a backup, where those behind that job, right? Estimated actual cost, percent complete, and all of that by line item. Well, let's head back right where we were, on the standard WIP. So again, this is just coming right from the job record. When a job's set up, we've got its contract amount, we've got the estimated cost. Again, this includes approved change orders. So there's our estimated profit. Actual total cost, that's all coming from our day-to-day accounting. Payroll that we've done in the system, accounts payable invoices, for example, any equipment usage that we've logged in, but just your day-to-day AP invoices, your payroll, that's all feeding these actual costs. Pretty standard, right? Percent complete, we actually show the formulas here, which would have been nice for me a long time ago. But yeah, so percent complete, obviously that's just comparing the total cost compared to the estimated cost of, obviously the division between it. So this is about 69% complete on that first line. Random data here, so just bear with the examples and numbers. So with the profit, I sometimes like to say the earned profit, right, would make a little more sense. So that's taking our percent complete, how far we've progressed on the job, times our contract total, right? So theoretically, it's like, what percentage should I have billed of this contract, right? Less my actual cost. So that's my earned profit, what I've earned. Billings, that's just our actual billings in accounts receivable, whether they're AIA progress billings, T&M billings, basic contract invoicing, any billings that we're doing from foundation, right? That's feeding there. So here's where we're getting billings over cost, right? So this is just exactly that. It's billings over our cost. Pretty easy. So the over under billing, that's essentially saying, did you bill too much or too little based on how far we've progressed on this project? Now I'm not a tax professional, CPA, or anything like that, so there's probably different schools of thought on a lot of these things in the construction environment. But theoretically, we probably want to be, you don't want to be underbilled all the time for sure, right? You want to be overbilled is what I've always come to see. Now, this gives us a good opportunity as jobs are progressing, right? Bonding companies need these in a lot of cases. CPAs sometimes want to look at them internally though, right? It's a great measurement tool as jobs are progressing to everybody sit down, right? You need fields input, the project managers, like, here's what we've actually captured in the system, right? Is there a question behind that, right? Where are these coming from? Well, obviously the detail behind those is there, right? So this is from what we've loaded into the system from actual cost. I can literally drill down into each individual component behind these numbers. Where's that labor coming from for demolition? Where's the material? I can see it. I can drill down. There it is, right? The backup for all that detail into the transaction level, right? But we all kind of understand, right? Like the percent complete, while that's accurate, is that what we want to keep and use in this situation? Do I need to adjust something? So, a lot of companies will do some adjustments to their WIP because, hey, even though it says we're 69% complete, I'm at the job, maybe I think we're 80% complete. I don't know. So there is actually an opportunity in our program in job costing to enter a job percentage worksheet. Okay, so I'll just say any job as of now, doesn't matter. So a lot of garbage data, but actually here's a job, this Midwest Turnpike job, right? So this is got realistic numbers. So we're calculated at 43.8% complete. I must have previously logged in a manual adjustment of 50%. I thought we were actually at 50% as a PM. I know maybe we're doing well on the job, right? Or maybe the costs are inflated because we bought a bunch of material, right? Pretty easy example. We didn't do anything with it yet. So that's the unknown potentially to the office staff, like what needs to be adjusted. So based on this edit of 50%, it's saying, oh, then you're about $430,000 where you're at. I'm going to say, hey, no, we're at 60% complete. I don't know, we're doing awesome. So now that projected cost is $384,000 at completion. If we're the other way, obviously, if I say we're 30% complete or something crazy, well, we're going to be way over, right? So it's a great measurement tool as things are progressing. But again, this gives us the opportunity, in a sense, to manipulate the WIP, right? To kind of adjust those numbers. Both the adjusted or manually entered percentage and projected number can also show on other job cost reports if we'd like it to. If I want to make a custom WIP and say, hey, pull the manually entered percentage or projected cost number or both to the report, you absolutely can. Now, if I go to actually general ledger, we have the same over underbilling. We have that here too. What's unique about this one is a couple things different from the one we were looking at in the dashboard. So here's our dashboard one, probably a little prettier because I have the highlighted blue, which you can do on these too. You can have one drilled down. This one's a little different where, notice on the other one, it just had total cost to date. This one breaks out material separate from labor and subcontracts, right? So, and if you wanted to have one that had a column that said labor cost, material cost, subcontract cost, equipment, whatever, that's flexible. That's really, really not that big of a deal to do that. So this breaks those out a little separate. We got a percent complete. I just ran this for a few garbage jobs. This one's different though, mainly in the sense that I can actually update our general ledger. So that's why this is in the GL module, because maybe as a PM, I can't hit the GL. But these over under billing adjustments, right? This will actually post to our GL. So really what it's doing is it's looking in the general ledger right now and saying what's in these accounts currently, and it's going to force the accounts to these current numbers. So theoretically, if I post this journal entry to the GL, come back and run it for the same date range, it'll have nothing to post because it is those numbers, right? It is what it is. If I posted it and went and entered a change order or something to a job that would affect the WIP, well, then only the difference would be here. So it does a great job just forcing it to equal those appropriate numbers. So on this one, we were underbilled. So that's why it's going to increase some type of asset account. And at the same time, the net of what we were over underbilled, it's going to hit that as a credit, right? As an increase to our some sales account or whatever we're going to hit the GL. So I mean, I could manually do a journal entry, but the whole point of this one, where it's a little special, is it will actually post. A couple things to make note of here on the criteria screen. I have just random stuff saved to make the report show jobs that have information, but do I want to run it just for jobs that are active? Maybe I do want to include jobs that are closed, but jobs that close this month, right? So there's some cool little features there. What type of jobs do I want to see? Right, so I could say don't include, like service jobs or something like that, or T&M projects. So we can also indicate if we don't want a certain job type on this, right? If we're doing a lot of large construction, but then we have like a service jobs, I probably don't need the service jobs to show up on my WIP. So we can edit statuses and job types and indicate if they should or should not appear on the WIP. Right, over under billing on closed job, yes. So there's a lot of different. Here's percent complete, if not entered. right? So that's saying if I didn't manually adjust that percent complete, pull in the calculated, real number, right? Otherwise, they're going to say, yes, just based on cost. Only do that. So this is the standard one. Like if I entered an adjustment on that projection worksheet, we'll use it. If not, use the calculated percentage. So some other options: show backlog calculations, gross contract method, do not show backlog, gap calculation. So some CPAs, we work with a lot of construction CPAs. We talked with them on this and did some different options for the gap calculation of how this works. The best part is whenever I forget what the heck one of those is, I can just hit my little help menu. And this is everywhere in our system. It's like, hey, here's what each field does, right? Backlog calculation shows the math behind it, the gap calculations, right? So it gives us a lot of good content for just education if I'm not sure on something, not just with WIP, but just in general. Worth showing, I believe, this report writer. So if I wanted to make a custom WIP, right, or any custom, well, I don't say any custom job report, that might be pushing it, but pretty close. So these are all existing. I can open a report that's already there and make a spin-off variation. But even if I just said, no, I'm going to make a new job cost report or a new financial, a new income statement, we preload all of these things, so don't feel like you need to. All we do is we just pull over or double click a box and it pops over to the right. So, if I wanted to say, hey, let's pull over jobs, if I was making a report and I wanted to see jobs broken down by cost codes, I would. But if, for a WIP, I just have one row per job. I'm not going to take the time to make a whole WIP report right now. We could, it's really not that involved to a degree. Right, so I want to see maybe the original estimated cost. Maybe we want to see the change orders, then the total revised estimated cost. Or like we noted a few minutes ago, maybe I only pull in the revised estimated total cost. Just matter of preference, cost to date, right? Then we would do a percentage for a calculation to get that percent, which I can just pull over percent complete anyway. But we can do a formula of any type, right? So pull in the income, right? Earned revenue, all the essential columns that we want, or different ones that are maybe not on the preloaded one. So you get the report started, you put in the, give it a name, you can format columns, change their headings and things like that. And any report that you save, job cost report related, financial, they're just going to be in that module that you made it for, right? So if I go to job costing, these are all preloaded reports, audit level, WIP report. This button here is where any custom report goes, and it's just alphabetical. I don't believe I've made any of these. These are just some of the predefined reports within the system, which all have that same criteria options of running it for closed or active, or just seeing one PM's jobs, one type of project. So there's a lot of flexibility on the output. Another part worth mentioning is our backend database of Foundation is Microsoft SQL. So I mean, one, you can just take that WIP report and just dump it to Excel if you want and manipulate it. Two, you could actually have a very, let's say, robust, feature-rich like data query from the back end of our system for people that are really into like Power BI and that's more modern tool than like Crystal reports, right? But it is an open database for people that want to take the data and do whatever they want with it behind the scenes and just yank it back out. Most users might not have that background, of course, where our report writer can be successful for any person that's never done any like custom reporting per se. I want to quick show a job record, and it's basic, but just to emphasize, as long as we get a job set up, just pulling up a sample job with a contract amount, right, and an estimated cost. I'm just making up these numbers here. That WIP's going to know what to do as far as calculating the estimated profit, earned profit, all of that. We got to get those initial numbers in there. Now, most people do break down their estimate by some type of labor, material, subs, and all that, right, or by cost code. So we can import budgets to the system from Excel. We can import estimates from third-party estimating systems, right? The detailed estimate. But honestly, as long as you have these two main numbers in here, regardless of how detailed you break down your estimate, which you probably would, that WIP report is going to run. Now, change orders, those are entered in a separate spot in job costing, which again will affect the WIP. If that change order is marked approved. If you wanted to do a custom WIP and have pending change orders also be there, or internal adjustment change orders also just affect the WIP, there's a lot of little, tricks we can do there in a positive way to make things, work for each company. So, in a nutshell, everybody's gonna have some different variety there. The WIP's there, it's ready to go off the bat. It's populated automatically from the system. Obviously, those adjustments can take place, percentage adjustments, projected cost of completion adjustments. Again, you can actually do those kind of internal change orders, as I quote in air, to manipulate the WIP and only manipulate the WIP in a good way. And that's one key report and feature in our system, that kind of goes along with all the other bells and whistles, from AIA progress billings to certified payroll, union payroll, overhead allocation features, managing committed costs, all these other options, right? So for people that have an interest in things that we do, I am in sales, right? But my background is not support and implementations in that, but we really are not a pushy approach, to say the least. But I mean, if anybody has questions on some of the basic things that we ran through, please reach out. We send a follow-up to anybody who registered. You can reach out to me directly. If you just reach out to our sales team with just general questions, they're not going to try to hammer you with urgent demonstration request or anything. But as much as people want to talk or just get education on what we're talking about here, we are more than happy to help, of course. We bounce back here. I don't know if I have my email on there, but again, we'll have it. Here's me. So again, please reach out, shoot me an email. Anything I can do to help. We will have a recording of this, like I said, sent out to anybody who registered. Hopefully it was informational. Stuff that you probably aren't familiar with from WIP reporting. It's just, hey, we don't have to go to Excel. We don't try to piece and part things back together. Everybody in the company can hopefully have one central place where all this information exists. Ideally, that's the goal. Cool. Well, thanks for attending, everybody. I appreciate it. And again, please reach out with any additional help or information that you may need. Take care.